is Janet from Try It Like It Created, and today we're going to be making a star spinner. I want to show you the materials that we're working with. This is going to be a project for the CutCardStock design team. And so what you will need is some washi tape. I'm using a palette, and I will show you why I'm using this tool in just a moment. I have some tacky glue. Any kind of tacky glue will work. I have craft wire, floral craft wire. You could use alternative wires or thicker wires. So I will explain that in a moment. I have two jewelry tools here, which is a round nose plier and a wire cutter. If you don't have these, you can replace this with a scissor, because the craft wire I'm using is thin, and this can be replaced by a pencil. And then we are using this silver cardstock. It's called Bright Foil Cardstock in Silver from CutCardStock. So to begin, I cut out my star shape on my Cricut Maker. And I have one already pulled off my mat, but I want to show you what I did. Is that the star shape is cut in layers, and so I put the washi tape over it because I want it all to stay in position. And to make this come off the mat a little bit easier and stick to the tape, I used my palette knife to or spatula, I'm not sure which you call this. I used it to go under the pieces, and to get them to pop up a little, you can curve your mat some. So I'm underneath all of it, and I want it to stick to my washi tape. So you can see that it's separating a little bit here, so I'm going to just reattach it. Okay, and I'm just going around lightly to get it to come off the mat and stay adhered together. So if you have another way of doing this, please feel free to do it. And this is just what worked for me. So what I want is this star to stick together. And I have cut out two of them, and the other one I have already removed. Now the next thing we're going to do is work with our craft wire. And I have already made this piece of craft wire to use. You could use another material or a thicker wire, but just let me show you what I've done with some smaller pieces here. So I've taken 3 pieces of craft wire. I took my round nose pliers, and at the widest width on my plier, and this could be a pencil, I twisted, and so I'm just wrapping the wire around like so, and then pulling it down from here. Now I took my wire and I started to braid it, because what I'm trying to do here is just create some thickness. What this did was it made my wire flat, and I'm going to show you here. Even if I tightened this up, it started to make a flat shape, and I wanted more of a tubular shape. So I just grabbed hold of the wire and twisted. Okay, and so just by twisting them together, I've made a thicker piece of wire. Okay, and that's all I'm going for, is a thicker piece of wire. So if you have some that is thicker, then you don't need to do this step. But that's basically what I did, and here is my larger piece. So you want, and my piece is quite large, it's not the size I need, but what you want is a piece that is long enough that the loop sticks out the top, and then you can cut it off at the bottom. What I'm going to do here is cut mine off right about here. And then I'm going to take my round nose pliers. Once again, it could be another tool, pencil, whatever, skewer, anything like that. I'm going to grab a hold of it, and I'm just going to wrap it up. Maybe easier said than done. Here, I just want to create a rounded shape at the bottom. Let me see how far I have to go here. Alright, so a little bit further. I want it to stick out the bottom, but I don't want it to be too deep. Okay, so that works. It looks like I need to twist this a little bit more down here at the bottom. So I'm just going to do that, get these to twist together a little bit more just by rotating them. Okay, tighten this whole thing up, and then I'm just going to tuck in the little pointed pieces because I don't want to hurt myself while I'm working on this. So that's fine. That works good. And then all we're going to do is lay that piece in there, okay? Because we want it to spin, but we need to have a solid shape here, and I will explain that as we go along. So our next step is to apply the adhesive. I wanted to give you a tip about taping the stars together while they are on the cut mat, and then keeping them aligned afterwards. I found that no matter how we try to center the stars, that the thicknesses of the shapes are not the same on all points. So I recommend running your washi tape from the top to the bottom so that when you go to align them together, that you can see here on the first star, this thickness here is a lot thinner than this part here. And by doing this, you make sure that those will line up together. I did not pay attention to that on my first go, and they would not work the way that we want them to work. So just a suggestion there. So now we're ready to glue the stars. They are stuck together still using the washi tape. And so I've flipped it over here, and I am going to apply my adhesive to all the stars. You can run around each star, or because they are still somewhat like a single piece of paper, you could run your glue in whatever direction you wanted to, as long as those pieces will stick together and not transfer glue to the front of the stars, because we want our paper to remain shiny. Okay, and the last amount of glue that I'm going to apply here is a strip down the center, somewhat generous, because that's where I'm going to stick my wire. Alright, so that's done. And now I'm going to stick my wire in, making sure that my loop is at the top and it sticks out a little bit more generous than at the bottom. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. And actually that additional washi tape there might hold it in place. So now I'm going to take my other star. Let me clean my fingers off first, because I have a little bit of adhesive and I don't want to get that onto the front of the stars as much as I can try to control that. So I'm just using a wet baby wipe here to kind of wipe off the adhesive. Alright, and now I'm going to take my star with the washi tape going in the same direction, and I am going to attach the star shapes to each other. Alright, and what's important here is we want the paper to attach. I'm not terribly concerned about the wire in the center at this moment. So the next thing to do is to remove that washi tape, and just be gentle so you're not going to tear anything. It seems to work pretty well with the washi, and that's why I suggest using the washi. And then if you need to, continually clean off your fingers if you pick up some adhesive as you're working on this. All right, so now what I'm going to do is make sure that my outer star is attached well to the wire and to itself. And then I'm going to take all the other pieces of star and I am going to turn them to be a little bit different than that first star. Okay, so if you're using a tacky glue, it's going to give you a little bit of time to maneuver, but not a lot. So I want to work quickly, and I am just going to go with the next star and turn it as well. So what we're doing right now is basically separating them from each other and making sure that they are stuck together. The two layers are stuck together. So I'm just going to keep going around, working on removing one layer at a time, separating them from each other. Making sure they're all separated. And then I'm down to the last center piece. Get my finger in there. All right, so now I'm going to work backwards just because I can. I want to make sure that all the center pieces are on this wire. So I'm going to have to move things over a little bit. All right, so working from the center out if I can. If not, I'll go back to the outside. All right, I am just going to turn these from each other. Okay, so we want them to be all a little bit different. And my wire has moved on me a little bit here, so I'm going to get it back to the center if I can. And at the same time, I am working on making sure that my two layers are stuck together and I'm not seeing any of the white cardstock. So this is going to take a little bit of finagling here. But I think, let's see,